What's up, average dad fans? Welcome back to another video, and I know it's been a while, but hopefully this has been worth waiting for. The full review of the Google Pixel 9 Pro XL. Are Google the most improved phone manufacturer of 2024? Let's go! So, if you haven't watched any of my reviews, I base them all on 5 categories: design, build quality, software, cameras, and price. Sprinkled in there, I'll talk about other things such as chipset and battery, and just everyday use. So, without further ado, category number 1, design. Now, throughout this review, you're going to hear a few recurring themes. Mainly, Jesus, Google have done a good job. Or, Christ, Google even improved that part. And that starts with the design. Yes, I can bet a lot of money that every single review you've watched say, it's just like an iPhone. Well, when you've got a device like the iPhone that sells 250 million units per year, maybe not the worst idea to try and emulate some of their design technology, and that's exactly what Google have done. They've squared off the edges, they've made them flat, stainless steel. From the side, it looks exactly like an iPhone. From the front, it looks basically like an iPhone, other than they don't have that ridiculous dynamic island that nobody uses. No, I mean that, nobody uses. From the rear though, this doesn't look like an iPhone. This is a Pixel. And it stays true to the Pixel design language with that visor. However, since the launch of the visor on the Pixel 6, I think this implementation is the best it's been. It doesn't integrate fully with the phone and feel a bit awkward. It just belongs. And cameras side by side, to me, make complete sense. And when you have it in landscape mode, the cameras are vertical. So if they ever wanted to do spatial video like Apple, I'm sure they could manage it on this as well. And talking about the front of the phone again, the display, it's a 6.8 inch flat panel. There's no curved edges like you get on the 6, the 7, Pixel 8 Pro. It's fully flat, again like the iPhone, but that's okay. Majority of the population prefer a flat display. Ultimately, my takeaway from design of the Pixel is this is the best it's ever looked. And it was never a particularly ugly phone, it was always just okay. But to me, they've stepped up their game. Now, is this as nice looking as an Oppo X7 Ultra? No, it comes in a vegan leather, it has that nice stitching. But for the colour choices you get, for the flat display, the squared off edges, the really nice ergonomics in the hand. Another good point about this is it's curved corners all around, so there's no digging into your palms, which some people find annoying on the S24 Ultra, for example. So overall, this is a solid score. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5. Not as good as an X7 Ultra, but just as good as an iPhone 15 Pro Max, for example. Now, before we move on to build quality, I just want to quickly remind you, for those that don't know, I have my own tech store. I sell phones, tablets, watches, accessories, and I try to be the cheapest price around, particularly with the big hitters such as Wanda and Gizstop. So if you're in the market for a mainly Chinese ROM, foldable or candy bar device, however I do have a few global options on there, check me out. If you decide to buy, thank you very much. If you don't, I understand. There are no hard feelings. The fact that you're watching this video is good enough for me. And as an added bonus, because the store is about to hit 1,000 orders, which is just a mind-blowing amount for the first 4 months, there is going to be a discount code splashed somewhere in this video. And it's going to be 5%. Now, this discount code will only last for 24 hours, so if you are a true supporter of the channel and you've watched this video to be one of the first on the first day, Here's a reward if you're looking for a new device. 5% off any device. Keep your eyes peeled for that code though. I'll flash it up for about 5 seconds at some point. You like what I'm doing with retention here? At some point in the video. What's up, folks? I'm in the middle of editing the video and I've decided, you know what, the weekend's coming. So the 5% off with the code later on in the video, look for it, 5% off for the whole weekend. Ends Sunday at midnight. So 3 full days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and the rest of today, 5% off. Now, next category, build quality. And again, another drastic improvement in my opinion. This is a naked phone. And what I mean by that is I tend not to slap cases on them, if ever. Actually, only in the past 2 days did I buy those green ones. They actually ship really quick from Google. That was nice. And I've slapped them on and they're really nice, but they don't always last all day, especially not for reviews, because we buy phones for the look and feel of the phone, not for the look and feel of a case. But build quality wise, if you do rock this naked and you do drop it, which I have done, you're going to be pretty good. It's Gorilla Glass Victus 2 on the front and rear. It's an IP68 water and dust resistance. So you can take it to the beach, you can take it swimming, you can take underwater photography if that floats your boat. You are not going to have any worries with this device whatsoever. However, if you are used to buying a Chinese device from Xiaomi or Oppo or any of the other brands, Huawei, one thing you won't get included in here is a screen protector. There are no screen protectors on the front of any global ROM device from Google, Samsung or iPhone. And I've already mentioned the slight upgrade in screen size and the weight. The weight has stayed roughly about the same and it feels reassuringly premium. As I say, I love picking up this device. I love looking at it. So in terms of build quality, this is one of the smallest rounds because there's really not much more to say, especially for a candy bar phone. It's got what you need. Every box is ticked in terms of protection. So for me, what more can it do? And it's the same with the S24 Ultra. What more can you actually want from a non-rugged tank-like device from a company like Ocutel or Cat or someone like that? So for me, for build quality, I'm going to give this a 5 out of 5. I couldn't ask for any more from Google on this one. And now the middle category, the third category I always do is software. And actually, the software is where this phone absolutely excels. You could argue that the cameras are good, but made great by the software. You could argue that the AI is good, but made great by the software and chipset and battery life. There are so many features on this phone that rely heavily on the software experience, the stock Google Android experience. And I've said this in a previous first impressions video, and I firmly believe it now. This stock Google software, for me, with the AI features that I actually use daily, has become my favorite software skin. Yes, stock Google is my favorite software skin. This does not all of a sudden make One UI trash. It's absolutely not. It's just got a bit stale, I would say. Anybody agree with me? Put in the comments. One UI has just become a bit stagnant. It needs something more. And yes, they have AI features as well, but I just feel with the Gemini Advanced, the Circle to Search, the Magic Eraser, the ad, all of the extra AI that is included in the camera, I just feel it's overtaken Samsung this year. And I never expected that to happen so quick from anyone because One UI I held in such high regard. Where this phone should have mass appeal is the ease of use. The reason your iPhone is used by your great-grandparents and your great-grandchildren is because from any age group, from 10 to 90, you can pick up an iPhone and after, half an hour with it, pretty much got the settings nailed down. You know exactly how to use it for what you need to do. Pixel's the same thing. Everything's where it should be. There's not over clutter in the settings menu like you find on others. And then, I've mentioned this a few times, as much as I sell a Chinese ROM device on my store, there are workarounds with all of them. Those workarounds are becoming fewer and fewer now, but with a global device like this Pixel 9 Pro XL, there are no software workarounds. It just works out the box. And for the masses, that's just reassuringly simple. So, again, software-wise, I'm going to give it a 5. And I know I feel like I'm riding Pixel's nuts here. I promise I am not part of Team Pixel. The irony being that of all the years for them to have a Team Pixel controversy, this shouldn't be the year. Because this phone is absolutely outstanding on its merits, rather than being forced to say good things about it. But anyway, we're at 14 points out of a potential 15 so far. Let's see if the camera and price I'm so generous with. So the penultimate category is the cameras. And the photography and videography is superb. It truly, truly is. But this is not due to the cameras specifically. These are slightly better camera hardware and sensors than the Pixel 8 Pro. But it's all about the post-processing, as it usually is for a Pixel device. So for me to score a camera high, I need to see better hardware. That's why the X7 Ultra and the Vivo X100 Ultra scored like 4.5 out of 5 on cameras, because the hardware is the best you can get. The hardware on this is, well, it's not the best you can get. But for you and I and 100% of the population, all that matters is the output. What do you actually see on your phone when you've taken a picture, or on your TV when you stream it to your TV? And what you see is fantastic colors, great saturation, amazing dynamic range. It's got everything rolled into every snap. And if it's a bit blurry, if the zoom's a bit messy, just use AI to sort it. It's essentially having like Photoshop built in here. It really is fantastic. But as mentioned, the camera hardware itself, as much as these photos and videos are great, they are software reliant. And I've already given it an amazing score for software, top marks, 5 out of 5. So I have to stay true to me and be honest with you. While the outputs are basically 4.5 out of 5, the actual camera category, I'm going to give it a 3.5. Google need to increase the lens sizes because they're nowhere near a 1-inch type sensor like we are on most flagship phones nowadays. And I want to see more from that zoom lens. I want to see 100 times zoom from a Pixel, and I want to see how good the zoom enhancement tool can actually do. Because right now, I'm not seeing too much improvement when I actually use it. So now, before we talk about the final category, we're on 17.5 points out of a potential 20. I should note that the Oppo X7 Ultra, the Vivo X100 Ultra, and the Samsung S24 Ultra are in the top 3. They all score 21.5 and 22 points for the X100 Ultra. So for this Pixel to take top spot, we're going to have to see a 5 out of 5 for price. I am not one of those people that doesn't think Pixel deserves to be a flagship price, because it does. But for me, a flagship price should bring with it flagship hardware. It should bring with it something a bit different. So for example, and I'm not going to talk about iPhones here because they're kind of a rule unto themselves. The iPhone 16 Pro Max is ridiculously expensive for what you're actually getting. You talk about camera hardware, those iPhone cameras, while the outputs are great, the hardware itself is lacking. But sticking with the Android market, hardware-wise, the Vivo X100 Ultra has, well, the best camera sensors on the planet from any smartphone. The Oppo X7 Ultra follows closely behind in second place, but it's also got that hardware to back it up. It's got that fantastic Quad HD plus resolution screen. Everything just looks amazing. So it's got a lot of hardware in there. So you're paying a lot of money for these things. However, for the X100 Ultra, for the Oppo X7 Ultra, you're actually looking at less than £800, brand new, sealed from my store and other places for those phones. So, should this phone be £250 more expensive than those? No, it shouldn't. You're always going to pay a premium for a global version, and I get that. And listen, folks, if we were talking about this being a ½ terabyte of storage for £1,050, probably wouldn't be complaining. I'd actually give you my money tomorrow and the next day for it, because it's well worth it. But £100 makes a big difference. The fact that we're talking about £1,050 for 128 gigabytes of storage is simply unacceptable. No Pro device should start at 128 gigs. No matter what anyone says, even my idol Flossie Carter, who made a really, really weak argument that 128 is enough because more people store their photos in the cloud. Yeah, Flossie, you've kind of missed the point here. 128 gigabytes of storage when your phone can take 8K videos ain't good enough. So I got the 256 gigabyte for £1,050 or $1,050 if you're watching in the US, but that was only because it was on a double storage pre-order deal. If you're going to buy now, it's £1,050 for 128 gigs, and then add another £100 to double it to 256, another £100 or £150 on top of that. I think it goes all the way up to a terabyte for something like £1,500. And folks, no, you should not be paying £1,500 for a Pixel Pro device. So for all those reasons, I have to mark it down for price and give it a very average score. I want to say 2.5, but I'm going to be generous and say 3, because it is cheaper than the Samsung and iPhone, which I believe this absolutely competes with. So 3 out of 5 for that. And if my maths is correct, that puts the Pixel 9 Pro XL at a final score of 20 points out of 25. A very, very respectable score for a very, very good device. Now, if you don't agree with me, that's okay. Let me know in the comments. Ideally, having used the phone, I know a lot of people like to comment and they've never actually owned the phone, but if you've used the device, if you own the device, let me know. Am I right in what I say? Am I wrong in what I say? I always like to see the comments when I get time to read them all, and I try to respond to as many as possible, but as the channel grows, which is a good thing, it gets harder to do. Now, before I sign off, I want to let you know that the Pixel 9 Pro Fold full review will be out very soon. I have been busy sorting things out in my personal work life. I am now 100% focused on the store and the channel, so expect a lot more content, a lot more in-depth reviews with more editing, with more graphics and all the stuff you want to see. And for all of you that have watched my channel to this point where we've hit 30,000 subscribers, please stick with me. I think we're going to reach 100,000 pretty damn quick. Until next time,